Hi, I'm Logan. Not the name my parents originally picked out, but one that stuck after my college roommate decided Elizabeth was too formal for someone who could recite every line from Die Hard and maintained a collection of vintage comic books. Right now, though, I wasn't feeling particularly tough or cool. I was standing in my cramped bedroom, arms crossed, facing my brother-in-law Marcus, who had apparently decided that my living arrangement was up for negotiation. I don't understand what the problem is, Marcus said, gesturing widely at my bed like he was a game show host presenting a prize. Olivia needs her own space when she visits on weekends. Your bed is bigger. The problem is that this is my room, I replied, trying to keep my voice steady. The room I'm paying rent for, in the house where I'm a tenant with a signed agreement. Marcus rolled his eyes, running a hand through his meticulously styled hair. Come on, Logan. We're family. Olivia is just 13 and growing. She needs the space more than you do. Where exactly am I supposed to sleep when she visits? I asked. The couch in the basement is perfectly fine. It's just 2 nights a week, Marcus said with a dismissive wave. Sophie agrees it makes sense. I glanced toward the doorway where my sister Sophie stood, examining her fingernails with sudden interest. Sophie? Is that true? Sophie looked up, her eyes darting between Marcus and me. Well, I just thought maybe we could work something out that helps everyone. This doesn't help me, I pointed out. This is my space that I pay for. Marcus's expression hardened. Look, I don't think you understand your position here. This is our house. We're doing you a favor letting you stay while you figure things out. If you can't accommodate our family's needs, maybe this arrangement isn't working. Are you threatening to evict me because I won't give your daughter my bed? I asked, unable to keep the disbelief from my voice. I'm saying family helps family, Marcus replied coldly. And if you can't do that, maybe you should find somewhere else to live. You have until tomorrow to decide. He turned and walked out, leaving Sophie lingering awkwardly in the doorway. He doesn't really mean that, Sophie said quietly. Doesn't he? I asked. Because it sounded pretty clear to me. Sophie sighed. He's just stressed about work. The promotion hasn't been easy on him. That doesn't give him the right to threaten me, I said. I signed a rental agreement. I pay on time. Every month. I know, Sophie said, wringing her hands. Just think about it. For Olivia, she really loves that window seat in your room. After Sophie left, I called my friend Ray, who worked as a paralegal. Wait, run this by me again, Ray said after I explained the situation. Your brother-in-law threatened to kick you out if you don't give up your bedroom for his 13-year-old who visits on weekends? Exactly, I confirmed, pacing the length of my room. He said I could sleep on the basement couch. Do you have a rental agreement? Ray asked. Yes, signed by both Sophie and Marcus. I've been here for 8 months, paying $800 a month. And they've accepted all payments? Every single one. On time. Ray whistled. Then what he's threatening is an illegal eviction. Even if you didn't have a written agreement, after establishing tenancy for that long, they'd need to provide proper notice according to state law. So he can't just throw me out? Not without going through legal channels, which would require legitimate cause, Ray explained. And not giving up your bed to my daughter isn't legitimate cause. What should I do? I asked, sitting heavily on the contested bed. Document everything, Ray said firmly. And call Elaine at the Tenant Rights Coalition. I think you're about to learn exactly how many rights you actually have. The next morning, I sat across from Elaine Carter at the Tenant Rights Coalition office, nervously fidgeting with my coffee cup as she reviewed my rental agreement. This is actually quite straightforward, Elaine said, looking up from the document. You have a month-to-month agreement, but with specified terms. They can't change the terms without your consent, and they certainly can't evict you without proper notice for a legitimate reason. So, refusing to give up my bed isn't a legitimate reason? I asked. Not even close, Elaine replied, pushing her glasses up her nose. Have you spoken with your sister about this? Sometimes these situations can be resolved through mediation. She's completely under Marcus's influence, I sighed. Always has been. Elaine nodded sympathetically. Well, let's talk about your options. First, we need to document the threat. Did anyone else hear it? Just Sophie. Has Marcus made similar threats before? Not about eviction, but he's always making comments about how I should be grateful they're helping me out, even though I pay market rate rent. Classic manipulation tactic, Elaine noted. Here's what I suggest. Send a formal letter clarifying your understanding of your tenancy rights and referencing the illegal eviction threat. We have templates you can use. As I left Elaine's office with a folder full of resources, I ran into my neighbor, Mrs. Patel, in the building's lobby. Logan, I haven't seen you in days, she said warmly. Is everything okay? You look troubled. Just some family drama, Mrs. Patel, I replied. Ah, with that brother-in-law of yours? She asked knowingly. I heard him yesterday when I was bringing over my casserole. Very loud man. I stopped. You heard our conversation? Hard not to, Mrs. Patel said, lowering her voice. Thin walls, you know. Threatening to put you out because of a bed. Disgraceful behavior. Would you be willing to write down what you heard? I asked. Just in case I need it? Of course, dear. That man has been rude to me since the day they moved in. Complained about my cooking smells. Can you imagine? When I returned home, Olivia was sitting on the front steps, her school backpack beside her. Hey, Squirt, I said, sitting down next to her. You're early for the weekend. Dad wanted me to see my new room, Olivia said, not meeting my eyes. He said you're moving to the basement. I took a deep breath. Did he tell you that was my choice? Olivia shrugged. He said family has to make sacrifices sometimes. Olivia, I need to ask you something important, I said gently. Are you actually uncomfortable in the guest room? Is there something wrong with it? Olivia fidgeted with her bracelet. No, I like the guest room. It has the cool lights we put up last Christmas. Then why? Dad says I deserve the bigger room because I'm growing, she recited, clearly repeating Marcus's words. And that you're just being selfish. I see, I said quietly. But I didn't ask for your room, Logan, Olivia said, finally looking at me. I don't want you to have to sleep in the basement. It's cold down there, and there are spiders. I smiled and bumped her shoulder gently with mine. Thanks for being honest, kiddo. Inside, I found Marcus and Sophie in the kitchen. Marcus looked up from his phone. Your stuff better be moved by tonight, he said without preamble. Actually, we need to talk, I replied, placing Elaine's folder on the counter. I've been consulting with the Tenant Rights Coalition. The what? Marcus scoffed. I have rights as a tenant, Marcus. You can't just evict me because I won't give up the space I'm paying for. Sophie's eyes widened. Nobody's evicting you, Logan. We're just asking... No, Marcus explicitly threatened to evict me, I corrected her. And Mrs. Patel overheard the whole thing. You're involving the neighbors now? Marcus's face flushed with anger. This is a family matter. No, this is a legal matter between a landlord and tenant, I replied calmly. And I have documentation of everything, including your threat. The kitchen fell silent. Marcus stared at me, his face gradually darkening to a deep shade of red. Sophie looked between us, her expression shifting from confusion to alarm. You ungrateful little... Marcus started, taking a step toward me. I wouldn't finish that sentence if I were you, I interrupted. Threatening a tenant is already problematic. Adding intimidation won't help your case. Case? Sophie's voice rose an octave. Logan, what are you talking about? I turned to my sister. I'm talking about the fact that Marcus threatened to illegally evict me because I wouldn't give up my room, which I pay rent for, to Olivia, who, by the way, doesn't even want my room. She told you that? Sophie asked. Yes, she did, I confirmed. This was never about Olivia's needs. This is about Marcus throwing his weight around. Marcus slammed his hand on the counter. This is my house! It's your house, but I'm a legal tenant with rights, I replied, sliding the folder toward them, including the right not to be evicted without proper notice and legitimate cause. We invited you to live here when you had nowhere else to go, Marcus snarled. This is how you repay our generosity? With legal threats? I've paid market rate rent every month on time, I replied. This isn't charity, Marcus. It's a business arrangement that you're trying to manipulate because you think family ties give you leverage. Sophie reached for the folder with trembling hands. Logan, surely we can work this out without... I tried that approach, I cut in. I explained why I needed my space. Marcus responded with threats. Because you're being ridiculous, Marcus shouted. It's just a bed. Then why not give Olivia your bed? I asked calmly. If it's just a bed. Marcus's mouth opened and closed. That's completely different. How? Explain it to me, I challenged. Explain how it's different. We're the parents. We own this house. We make the rules. And I'm your tenant, with a signed agreement that you're violating, I replied. Sophie had been scanning the documents, her expression growing increasingly concerned. Marcus, it says here we could be liable for damages if we try to evict without cause. This is absurd, Marcus hissed. You'd sue your own family? I don't want to, I said honestly, but I won't be bullied out of my legal rights either. Marcus grabbed the folder from Sophie and threw it across the room, papers fluttering everywhere. Get out! Get out of my house right now! Marcus! Sophie gasped. I stood my ground. That's an illegal eviction order. I have it on my phone recording right now. Marcus lunged forward, grabbing my arm. Give me that phone! Let go of me! I shouted, pulling away. Dad, stop! Olivia's voice came from the doorway. She stood there, eyes wide with fear. What are you doing? Marcus froze, his hand still gripping my arm. In the silence, we all heard the gentle clearing of a throat from behind Olivia. I came to return your casserole dish, Mrs. Patel said, holding a glass container and staring at Marcus's hand on my arm. Should I come back later? Or perhaps call someone? Marcus released me immediately, stepping back. This is a private family matter. Of course, Mrs. Patel nodded, though I couldn't help overhearing. Again, these walls so thin. She gave me a meaningful look. Logan, dear, are you all right? I'm fine, Mrs. Patel, I assured her. Marcus was just having trouble understanding some legal concepts about tenant rights. I see, Mrs. Patel replied. My nephew is a police officer. He explains these things very well if you need assistance. 2 weeks later, I sat in my room, still my room, looking at the new lease agreement on my desk. 2-year fixed term with clearly defined terms, courtesy of the Tenant Rights Coalition mediator. A knock interrupted my thoughts. Sophie stood in the doorway, fidgeting with her sleeve. Marcus wants me to ask if you'll reconsider the complaint, she said. Is that why you're here? To ask on his behalf? No, Sophie sighed. I'm here to tell you that you shouldn't. He needs to face consequences for once. I raised my eyebrows. That's not what I expected you to say. I'm sorry, Logan, Sophie's voice cracked. I should have stepped in sooner. Watching him grab you like that, seeing Olivia's face. I can't make excuses anymore. Is that why he moved into the guest room? Sophie gave a small laugh. Yes, my decision, not his. He's still furious. Has he apologized to you or Olivia? In his way, Sophie hedged. He bought Olivia a laptop. But no actual, I'm sorry? You know Marcus, Sophie said with a shrug. Later that evening, Marcus appeared at my door, looking irritated. Sophie says I need to apologize, he stated flatly. Is that what you're doing? I asked. Look, I may have overreacted, Marcus muttered. You threatened to illegally evict me and physically grabbed me. I corrected him. Fine, I was wrong, Marcus bit out. Can we move past this now? Drop the complaint? No, Marcus, we can't. An apology is meaningless if nothing changes. The complaint stays, and so does the new lease agreement. After everything we've done for you, this is exactly why things can't go back to normal, I interrupted. You still think you were doing me a favor by charging me rent. It was a business arrangement that you tried to manipulate because you thought family ties meant I wouldn't stand up for myself. Marcus left without another word, but the message was clear. Some people only respect what they fear, and he now understood there were consequences to his actions. The next day, Olivia stopped by with a hand-drawn card. I made this for you. Dad says you're not moving to the basement anymore. That's right, I confirmed. And neither are you, unless you want to. I don't, Olivia grinned. Too many spiders. Logan? She asked hesitantly. Are you going to move out now that you and Dad are fighting? I smiled at my niece. No, Squirt, I'm staying right here. Sometimes standing your ground is more important than walking away. Have you ever had someone try to take advantage of your kindness? What boundaries did you have to set to protect yourself? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories about finding your voice when it matters most.